Hello and welcome to the Irresistible Marketing Pod, the podcast that loves trial and error, but an elevated trial and error. As in, let's just skip over a lot of common mistakes that will crash your bottom line and bruise your ego. That's exactly what I'm going to help you do today. Skip over one of those super common mistakes. I'm your host, Isa Gauchi, your marketing confidence cheerleader reporting for duty. I am also the owner of the Isa Messaging digital marketing agency for service providers, solopreneurs, and small businesses, making the world a much better place for all of us through their work in health, wellness, social justice, beauty, and the creative arts. So today let's talk about profit and when you can realistically expect it, especially if you are a new business. Now, you may not want to hear this, but it takes the average small business years to become profitable, as in revenue minus expenses equals a positive number. Now, you are totally welcome to check my facts right now. Go ahead and Google average time for small business to turn a profit in 2025. And if you're seeing what I'm seeing, you're going to see article after article saying 2 or 3 years or more. Now, I'm sure I've ranted on this podcast before about all of the caveats and checking into the relevancy and efficacy of statistics and benchmarks, because I think in the digital age, with access to so many reports and analysis and metrics, we can often put too much trust in numbers without checking whether it's a mathematically responsible sample size, whether it is a benchmark that is perhaps outdated, it's from years ago, if it's from a geography or an industry, etc., that's relevant to your particular case. So I am throwing out this number out there for you, but let's just say that this is true. This mainstream estimation, present day, most of the experts are saying, the top Google results are saying 2 to 3 years or more for the average new small business to see a profit. Let's just say that is correct. That doesn't mean that's how long it's going to take for you, but I do want you to listen carefully. So of course, averages have outliers and estimations vary wildly based on startup and standard operating costs. For example, I had fairly low startup costs and was able to achieve profitability in 3 months. Not much profitability, but still revenue minus expenses was a positive number. But here's the thing. If you, small business owner, solopreneur, service provider, if you are expecting instant profitability, please know that you are expecting to shoot the moon. Shoot the moon, as in it's kind of a long shot. And I know there's so much flashy marketing out there, especially if you are in the woo-woo manifestation coachosphere online, and that's on your feeds about 10K in 10 days or all of these rags to riches stories. Yes, possible, totally possible. There's often some backstory that is missing from this high-level narrative, but also that is not the average Joe story for how quickly profit happens when you open a business. Now, there is nothing wrong with having shoot-the-moon expectations as long as you are aware you have a shoot-the-moon expectation and you are updating your mindset and your approach to match. Because audacious, bold visions require audacious, bold actions to bring about the results you want, like very quick profitability. You are not going to get there that fast with the same old moves and your up to now mindset and approach, especially if you are coming out of corporate, if you are coming into business having only been an employee so far. And I'm not saying only to put you down, but I am saying the way you operate as an employee is very different from the way you need to operate as a CEO, where it's on you to call the shots, to make big decisions. By the nature of entrepreneurship, there is a risk involved. You have to be able to choose a direction without complete certainty of what is going to happen next, which is part of what makes it exciting. But that's real different from doing as you're told, blending in, not making waves, as so many of us had to learn how to do when we were operating in someone else's business before we went into business for ourselves. This is a big identity shift. It's a big mindset shift, and it requires an emotional capacity that you probably don't have the emotional muscles for yet because you have not been faced with these challenges. So you're asking yourself to do a whole lot of new things at once when you go from employee to business owner. And being faced with the uncertainty, you don't know where the next paycheck's coming from, you don't have anyone to give you a performance report and tell you how you're doing in your annual review besides you, when it all comes down to you and you are having to learn how to emotionally deal with uncertainty. You are responsible for establishing the order out of chaos. And you probably have not had to do that before. So, here's a super common mistake that I want to help you avoid. So, someone has done very well in their professional career working for other people, and they decide to go into business for themselves. And they want to do this right. They want to ace the test. They want straight A's. They want to do everything perfectly. They want to cling to as much safety as possible when they make this bold, dramatic move to open their own private practice, to open their coaching business, to take an unconventional path in terms of their career. So, many new business owners realize that they need help. They need help. They can't do everything on their own. They may be having a hard time coming up to speed on aspects of business that they haven't had to do before. Like they've been busy doing the work of their profession, their career, and now they have to learn marketing and sales and business administration and systems operations and all of this stuff. And it's wild, right? It feels like chaos at first. And so they'd like to cling to as much safety as possible. And so it's understandable that they feel like even though they're overwhelmed, they need help, they want to wait until that profit money comes in before they get the help that they are already aware that they need. And as dramatic as it sounds, in all seriousness, I think this mindset, this approach, this strategy fucks you over. I think this is why 1 in 5 businesses don't make it past the first year, and why half of all businesses go under by the 5th year, because they put off getting the help that they need to wait for profits when help would have gotten them to the profits. When you know most small businesses or new small businesses don't see a profit for 2 or 3 years, and you decide you're not going to get the help you need until you see profit, are you willing to wait 2 or 3 years to have help you know you need now? Does that make sound business sense? Or are you likely to burn the fuck out while you're waiting for those profits to come in? And ironically, in so doing, by being financially conservative, by being like, I'll get the help when I have the money, they're limiting their ability to do what would actually get them the profits. Help. Help would get them the profits. Help would enable them to focus on their zone of genius. Help would take a lot of the analysis paralysis and choice overload out of the equation, because rather than having to come up to speed on everything themselves, they could work with someone that could tell them really quick what the best option is, without them having to get that person's years of study, years of lived experience, years of hard-won wisdom on their own. They could just hire that person to tell them. So, waiting for the money before you get the help is backwards. And this is why. Number one, doing it all on your own is mentally, emotionally, and spiritually exhausting. Exhausting. If you've been trying this for a few months, you already know. Don't lie. Number two, you have no window into your own blind spots. Yes, you're a brilliant genius, but every single one of us has blind spots. And you might be wasting so much time and energy and heartache on a simple fixed problem that you just can't see. Like one time I literally had to tell a business that you couldn't see the cart option when you add something to cart because the background color was the same color as the flashing icon when like you know how a little number pops up usually or something happens so you can see when something is added to cart, and then they couldn't see the cart because the colors are the same, and so then they couldn't get to the checkout page, and that's why all their sales were low, not because everything about them sucked, them and their product and their business and their marketing sucked, but because of this one really simple design error that had an easy fix that they just couldn't see because they were too close to it. And there's so much like that for service providers as well. Like there's no easy way to check out right away, or the next step to work with them isn't clear, or they are giving people 36 different options for how to work with them, and they're giving their customer choice overload because they're the expert and the customer doesn't want to do the mental emotional work of wading through 36 options and stressing over what's right for them. They want to get on the phone with this person and be told, here's the thing you need, yes or no. Number three reason why it is backwards AF to wait for the profit to get the help you need now. You'll have to spend so much time researching and doing stuff that you don't enjoy, pulling your focus from the work you love and the people you want to serve. Number four, you are going to be faced with endless, infinite choices of strategies you could adopt, directions you could go, templates you could steal, influencers you could follow, expert advice out there on the internet whenever you go looking for answers. This, my friend, is a recipe for choice overload when it becomes a cognitively difficult task to make a decision. And so most people wind up freezing or spending a lot of time researching and then choosing one option and stressing out afterwards that maybe they should have chosen something else. This is an energy drain. And if you are starting this business on the side, or you need to get up and running in a hurry, if you need clients like yesterday, this is not where you want to be pouring your focus and attention. Number five reason why it is backward AF to wait for the profit to get the help you need now. So that big identity and mindset and operating shift I was mentioning earlier about going from employee to business owner, where you are following the rules, not making waves, doing the best in a system that's been set up for you by someone else as an employee, versus you are responsible for establishing order out of chaos. You are calling the shots. You are having to navigate the uncertainty. You are having to juggle in your brain the big picture of your vision and the day-to-day operations simultaneously. You are having to navigate a higher degree of uncertainty and risk than you are probably used to professionally beforehand. You are having to emotionally handle realizing you're taking a risk, you're doing something different. You are having to juggle other people's thoughts and feelings and opinions about this unconventional path you're taking. And some of them might not be pleasant reactions. So all of that is common for what happens when you go into business for yourself, when you open a business. All that pressure stress tests your nervous system in the best of times. Like, forget about financial strain, financial pressure. The news being what it is right now, where we seem to be nosediving into a recession when the job market seems terrifying. Like, not even counting that, the pressure of opening a business stress tests your nervous system in the best of times. And I'm imagining, if you are aware of the news at all, you don't have a huge cushion. You don't have a lot of backup plans for if this doesn't work out. You're feeling it 100 times, 100 times more right now. There's so much pressure on your business in the best of times. Add on all the shit that's in the news right now. That's a lot. That's a lot to put on your plate. And if you do not have adequate coping skills, mindset shifts, self-care practices, and support, well, we've lost a lot of really good entrepreneurs and amazing businesses that could have been to a state of freeze. And I don't want that for you. Number 6 reason why it is backwards to wait for profits to come in before you get the help you need now is that if you struggle with imposter syndrome, believing in the value of your work or whether anyone will ever buy, that doubt, that lack of confidence is going to be conveyed in your marketing, which is going to delay your sales, delay your clients, delay your profits. Pushing that when the profits are going to come in out further, perhaps longer even than that 2 to 3 year estimate. Probably longer, if you even make it that long without burning out or crashing out. Or you could set yourself up for success and save yourself a whole lot of heartache by investing in adequate support now. Yes, before you see the profits you want. Here's why this is the right order of things. With the proper support, you can keep the pressure and expectations on yourself manageable. This way, you can build a profitable business that is sustainable for you to continue running long term without burning out, without crashing out. Number 2, with the proper support, crucial information is not lost to your blind spots because you have someone to help you see what you're not seeing and put it into a useful, actionable context. And to not let one of those mistakes go on so long, like not having the designer where people couldn't tell where checkout was, or not realizing that your buying process was giving your customers analysis paralysis, and that with a few simple tweaks, you could start seeing increased sales, increased conversions, like immediately, babe, immediately. Imagine that, something that could be fixed in 5 minutes if you had someone point it out to you. Imagine letting that problem go on and crash your sales for months. That is not the financially responsible choice. Okay, number 3. You're no longer expecting yourself to become an expert in areas of business that do not excite you or light you up. Because there are people who love that thing you're not excited about, who have lived and breathed it for years, who could tell you in 5 minutes what it would take you 5 months or more to figure out on your own. Hint, hint. This is a lot of your marketing stuff, your social media, your copywriting, your web design. This is your bookkeeping, your systems. Any of those things you hate and dread and don't do on your own, or it takes you forever. Please consider getting help. It'll get done so much faster and it'll drain so much less of your energy, focus, and attention away from what you actually love doing, from the whole reason you went into business for yourself in the first place. Please hire people. You can benefit from an expert's 10 years of study, practical experience, and hard-won wisdom from their personal trial and error processes rather than having to replicate all of that for yourself, which you would have to in order to do what they can do for you in 5 minutes. Oh, the costly mistakes and time you'll save. What number am I on? Okay, number reason why help first before profits is the correct order is that the right expert can help you pick the best strategy for you and give you a reasonable timeline for how long it will take for you to see results so that you don't fall into that trap that so many newbie entrepreneurs do of starting and stopping endless new marketing strategies before any one of them has a chance to actually work. Y'all, remember that analysis paralysis we were talking about and that choice overload? You could just skip over that. Clarity is so priceless. It saves you so much time and energy and mental anguish, and it gives you a direction so you can focus the limited attention, time, energy, emotional availability that you have, because all of us have a limited amount because we are finite beings. It allows you to focus that in the best, most effective, most efficient way. And you better believe that's going to speed up your timeline for when you can expect to see profit. Number 5 reason why help first before profit is actually the correct order is that when things get hard, which they will, because becoming a CEO requires a major identity shift for most of us, as we've covered, support is so important to ensure you're treating yourself well when faced with challenges you've never had to face before. Adequate support will help you to stay plugged into the vision rather than stuck in a doom spiral about what could go wrong, which sucks. It feeds your anxiety, it feeds your stress to be just constantly spiraling and doom spiraling and catastrophizing. And it often takes reframes, mindset shifts for you to be able to stay focused on the vision, for you to notice the goods, for you to notice the signs that it's working before you get the big payoff. All of that is necessary for you not to burn out or crash out before it has a chance to work. Like, this is essential. This is not a nice to have. This is a must to have if you want your business to work. Also, adequate support is going to help you not fall into the trap so many entrepreneurs do that leaves them miserable, which is misinterpreting business data and drawing cruel conclusions about what it means about them, the viability of their dreams, and the value of their work. You will probably, especially if you're not a marketing expert yourself, are going to need some outside perspective to put the numbers and analytics and metrics into a proper context that you can use and is useful. And that doesn't just always equal, I suck, everyone hates me, as a lot of my people tend to interpret every bit of data, and rather can maybe lead you to some useful insights. Like, hey, change the background of the flashing animation when someone adds to cart so that it's a different color. Or like, hey, let's give them a clear step-by-step process on how to work with you. And then instead of having all the options on your sales page that they can choose from, have them book a phone call, talk to them, and then email them the best package that works for them. Eliminating all of the choice overload and cognitively stressful task of choosing on their own when they don't even know what they're looking at because they're hiring you because you're the expert. Okay. Number 6, I think. Yes, number 6 reason why help before profit is the correct order of things. With support, you can ensure that you're positioning your work effectively to sell, even in times of economic crisis, when wishy-washy messaging is not going to cut it. It is essential that your inner critic is not the creative director of your marketing and is not the vice president of marketing that is making giant business-wide policy decisions about what marketing results mean for your company. Your inner critic does not get to be in those roles. And if you are someone who has a tendency to be steered by your inner critic, as a lot of my folks are, for reasons we talk about a lot, you probably need some very skilled support to reframe how you're looking at it, for other ways of thinking about it that you may not even know are options right now, to catch yourself when you're doing it, and to get some love, some hyping up, some validation, especially if that is absent from your life right now when it comes to your business. So many entrepreneurs who are talented, gifted, brilliant people whose work genuinely helps people, genuinely makes the world better, get stuck in the echo chamber of their inner critic calling the shots and get disappointing results from their DIY efforts for this reason. They don't realize that they've hired their inner critic to be creative director, vice president of marketing, or whatever. Corporate roles are equivalent. You know what I'm saying. This holds so many people back, and they don't even realize it. Or they don't realize that they're conveying this on accident when they approach their marketing. I don't want you to delay your profits because of this reason. This is why help now is important. This is why it is essential. Help first in order to get to the profits, not waiting for the profits to get the help that you need now. So, we're doing a mindset shift right now. This is one of those things that we have to turn on its head, that we've just been operating so far in employee mindset. Our understanding, the way we think, has worked in that environment. But as a business owner, we have to realize that getting help is the financially responsible choice. Because the hard, direct truth is that saving money in the short term by trying to go it alone is going to cost you profits in the long term, and probably your mental health pretty quickly. Because it's going to push that profitability date out further and further, when you could get where you want to go so much faster with a little bit of help, which is what I am here for. Here's how I can be your marketing confidence cheerleader today. If you want my undivided attention to help you accelerate smashing through your revenue, reach, and impact goals, sign up for Season of Support, which is my high-touch, high-efficiency, highly transformative one-on-one program. Being a Season of Support client also gives you complimentary squad membership, which is dope because the squad is a fabulous community of big-hearted black sheep rebel entrepreneurs who are done playing small and make a habit of regularly shooting the moon. The squad is part marketing mastermind for motivated, never been done before businesses, part neurofestive entrepreneurial support group, part transformational group coaching as we melt what's blocking you from making the power moves that will get you those big results that you want from marketing. You get tons of strategic, tactical, and emotional support from me, plus accountability, friendship, and inspiration from some of the most interesting, unique, glass ceiling busting entrepreneurs around. Also, do make sure you're following me on LinkedIn, where I offer periodic free workshops if you want to get a taste of what it's like to work with me. The next one I'm holding is Marketing Through Your Fear of Visibility, How to Emotionally Afford the Cost of Being Seen, which is happening on April 29th, 2025. If you're listening to this episode far in the future and that workshop has passed, don't worry, just follow me on LinkedIn and you'll be kept abreast of all my upcoming free workshops. Links for everything are in the show notes below. That is all for today. Thank you so much for listening, and don't forget to leave me 5 stars and a kind review on your way out. XOXO, Isa out.